Oh, right as we went live, I'll put the horns down.
Yep. So get the timer going here, guys, because the live is kicked in, and so now we got that old minute to win it. If everybody wanted to know what we call this segment, this is minute to win it. And Tommy D's back, baby. So we're gonna be right on track. And you know who's gonna give me the minute to win it today? Young Sam.
Oh. All right, minute to win it. So the minute to win it today is, I don't know what the minute to win it is today. Tell you what, this is what the minute to win it is today. Have any of you all just decided randomly to pick up a book and it was the best thing you ever read or the worst thing you ever read? And what was that book?
Well, that's a good one. I'm trying to think. All three of us randomly pick up books.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely, I would say you can guarantee that all three of us have randomly picked up a book and probably had all of those experiences.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it does have to say like randomly. So that means like you weren't into the creators.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just, the look was good.
I'll give you an example. The one I did is I think in order to like purchase something with card once, I had to just buy another comic quick. And so I just went to the dollar wall and grabbed one randomly. And so I picked up Hex #7.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah, like, and this is when like Jonah Hex was like in space and like he was
terrible.
like in a distant future, and it's just like nothing about this book worked to me.
Yeah, especially because Jonah Hex is so awesome.
Well, like Jonah Hex is a great like cowboy character, and you're like going like, what's with that fool in space?
Yep.
And like he's not even the only one. There was like a soldier from Vietnam in this future, and like that guy gets like eaten by almost eaten alive by rats in the series, in the story. And I'm like, this is a very weird little book.
And there it is, guys. Minute to win it. Sam always has us on our toes. Look at that.
On mine.
Sam, you got to ask the question and answer your own question. It was perfect.
Do you guys have an option or no? Are we just moving on?
No, we're moving on.
All right.
We only got so much show to have here. And Tom's hosting tonight, so you know I'm bullying people around.
There we go.
From the jump.
I'm gonna walk on eggshells.
No, I'm just
nothing but indie books tonight for me. Good
I know
Lord.
we're keeping this train cooking. Sam, I think it was a great minute to win it, but we were already on minute 2, so we were 60 seconds over.
Y'all just think about yours and then like put in the comments what was the book for you.
Judge Judy over here.
Damn right. Please call me Judge Judy for the rest of the episode. Oh, yeah. But anyway, guys, I'm hosting today. It's your boy Tommy D. We're going around the horn. I'm really excited. A comic book look representing Sioux Falls, South Dakota, coming straight out of the 605. You know, 1-2 to the Tennessee, and we're having a good night. It's really exciting to get around. I haven't picked up comics in 2 weeks. Told the boys haven't picked up comics. They said, you know what? Round the horses. We're still Jonah Hex style, gonna cowboy up. So we're here. You know, I wanted to say, how's everybody doing tonight? Mark, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Can't complain.
Hell yeah. Johnny boy, how you doing tonight?
Doing awesome, man. Rocking my new Starbucks mug. So
yeah. Damn, I haven't seen that Starbucks mug. That seems like that's an exclusive.
Las Vegas. Whoop.
Hootie hoo.
Hootie.
And my boy Sam, how are you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing great. I'm drinking bubbly lemon. That's what I'm doing. I'm having a great night.
Oh man, Sam is keeping it so crisp and clean with that, you know, sparkling lemon flavor. He's going to be rocking and rolling all night long. And what we're going to be talking about is comic books. This is a comic book look, your weekly TV show on comic books and comic book culture. And we got all your boys gathered in here, and we're going to be talking about comics. Since I haven't picked up comics, and actually John didn't pick up comics because he is going through his 10,000 issue backlot that he's trying to read. And so he's cracking through, but he said, you know, he's on pace right now, cooking through over 35 books a week, son, 5 to 7 a day. So pretty nice, John. How is that, you know, that train rolling where you're able to pack in 5 to 7 books a day?
So there's some days where if the books are really good, I'm like, boom, 7, no problem. And then there's other days like some of these X-Men books when you hit the page of prose, And then you wake up an hour later and you're mysteriously still on the same page, and the books is like slightly on your lap, and your feet are reclined, and I'm just So it can be a little brutal sometimes, but definitely excited to be getting through all this content that I've purchased, especially for the X-Men stuff. And then after that, it's back to Marvel horror comics for me, and I'm very excited about that too. So
let's keep it comics by night. You know what I'm saying? Hell yeah, John. Well, I'd love to hear that. Love to see that comics train rolling. You know, I love to hear, Sam, you kept the train rolling tonight, brought our text thread back to life and said, hey, are we filming tonight?
Mhm.
You know, and I had a negative comment, and Sam was like, no, we are filming tonight. So Sam, how you doing? Thanks for bringing that positive energy, brother.
I didn't even know your comment was negative. I just was like, I was just thinking it was just like, hey, are we doing something?
Yeah, it was. I was just joking.
You know what? We're doing good, man. Like I did buy books this week, and ones that some people may be surprised about. But I might hold those for next week for the show, because I want to read it first and then talk about it. But so I thought, since you guys are going to do kind of a smorgasbord thing, I would do a similar thing. With books that I have read personally lately that are not newer.
Dude, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And my number one homie, Mark, how we doing in Tennessee, dude? How was the LCS looking today?
Was good, man. A little bit of a light week, but it's all good though. Still got books.
Nice. Yeah. Never, a light week. Hey, I'll take that sometimes. Isn't that refreshing? Who doesn't love a light week every once in a while?
I love a light week almost every week because I got already so much to read otherwise.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you guys. Let's get going here. We're going to be talking about the comics that we've read, and in no particular continuity order or anything like that. We are all comic lovers, where this is a show about comic culture. So we don't always have to talk about the latest books. And it's mostly because I fucked up and didn't get my books the last 2 weeks because I've been so busy. But I made a vow to these guys. I will be there tomorrow. And I'm sorry to the comic book gods for missing 2 Sabbaths in a row. That is not right. So, apologize.
Maybe you're the reason why snow hit this after our 60-degree days, because you didn't pick up the comics. The snow hit again.
It's my fault.
That was your fault.
But it's going back to warm tomorrow, guys. So don't worry.
You know why it's always nice in Tennessee? Mark always getting his books.
Oh,
that's right.
His books.
There you go.
The vibes are right in Tennessee. All right. So guys, I say I'll just kind of go around the horn, and then we can talk about some of the stuffs that we've been reading, and let's lift up some comics. Mark, you want to hit us first?
Sure, man. This is from the stack today. This is comics that I have read from the stack today. Kicking it off here with Ice Cream Man, issue number 38, which I know Tom reads, so I won't spoil. All I am going to say is this issue is amazing. I loved it. It's a 6 out of 6. I freaking loved it so much. I would love to just take this one single issue and just make it a movie. It was that good. It's a self-contained issue, but it's just really awesome. What I will say too about Ice Cream Men in general is if anybody's looking for just a good horror comic to read, look no further than Ice Cream Man. I think it's phenomenal. And this issue is no exception.
Wow, I am so jealous that I've missed, and now that is out and I didn't read it. Yeah, it's like horror with the lights on. You know what I mean? Because the inker, it only does the thinnest lines, and then everything else is filled in with just full color. So just these thin lines, it's so stylized. Yeah, I love the team, man, so much.
Like a mask.
Oh. Dude, so we're starting out with a 6 out of 6 in Ice Cream Man. That's pretty dope. John, what do you got for us?
So like I said, I've been really working on my Krakoa invasion, if you will. So right now, the most recent read, X-Force issue 43. So I'm like 3 or 4 behind still on this particular series. The catch with this all is that there's like 20 series going on, and so I still have a lot of reading to do. But a couple of things about X-Force. So right now, the Hellfire Gala just happened in my world. I just read that, and everything went to hell in a gala. And X-Force was asked by Colossus to not be at the event, but to remain offsite to better surveillance the area. So they were not there to help the events that went down. A couple of things about this book. First of all, on behalf of the community that I am and lifestyle that I am a part of, we do just want to give an honorable shout out to Daddy Colossus with the beard. And there's just some funny notes in here. So Deadpool comics I don't enjoy, but Deadpool cameos I just die about. So an example is Deadpool is literally taking notes during a team meeting, and they're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm taking notes." And he sketched Omega Red and says, "Lame 80s ponytail smells like meat." And it's funny quips like that where I'm just like, I love this book because Deadpool, that's the right amount of Deadpool for me. A whole comic like that, it's almost like a Harley Quinn comic. It's like, but it was a good read ultimately. The dark thing about Colossus is that Colossus is actually being controlled by his brother and mutant who is able to write everything that he says and basically control his actions from afar. And so Colossus is this big sleeper agent doing all these bad things, and he's not in control, which is a bummer. So,
who's his brother? I didn't know there was a brother in that family.
Mikhail, and yeah, he's not a nice guy. I met him when I first started collecting comics. So this is back in Uncanny X-Men when they were in the Morlock tunnels with Marrow. There was Hemingway, and then there was a green gooey skeleton guy. But his brother actually was like controlling them and making them super riled up and angry and causing all these Morlock disturbances. So. Yeah, if I were to give this a rating, only because it's just such a fun read, I'd give it a strong 5 out of 6. It's one of the stronger X titles. I've enjoyed it from start to finish. So.
Love it. I love how X-Force is still holding strong. Are they still like a little more badass than normal X-Men and more killer-ish, or
not
are they
as
more
well?
there's nice now.
Ever since the Hellfire Gala went down, there's been a lot of killing in several of the books. So I've kind of lost track. It wouldn't surprise me in this one.
Love to see it. Love to keep X-Force alive with how much blood is shed in those in between those pages.
Yeah,
all right. Sam, you've been reading some comics. Let's hear about it.
So oddly enough, this one goes out to Mark. This one specifically goes out to Mark. Mark, previously you asked me to see what I thought about this series right here, the Ninjak books. And so I finally sat down and read them. They were on the pile of to be read for like a month, sadly. And because like at the time I had like 10 floppies I had to read every single day, and these were just a little longer. But the thing about these was that they're very fun reads. If you really enjoy Valiant comics like I am, I'm the one man in the world who still likes Valiant comics. These are like this is exactly what you're going to get out of a Ninjak story. The problem is that I don't know a lot about Ninjak. I know Exo Manowar and I know Harbinger a little bit, but Ninjak itself was like he's just kind of like, he's a secret spy ninja man. I feel like he's James Bond with some size, and that's nothing wrong with that. I thought this story was fun, but I felt like I've kind of read it and watched this before. The whole idea is that these people have put a hit out on Ninjak, and it's so good that pretty much every assassin's after him. It's like it's the Get Shorty of comics, and that's a cool take. And like Ninjak's a good person to do that with, but I think sadly, purely for like the sake of me reading, that story beforehand and with other characters and watching that movie a few times already, and it's just like it rings kind of just same old for me, which is it's not a horrible thing. It's still entertaining, but it's not like it's not really awesome or badass like an Exo Manowar story would be to me. And art's okay on it. Everything's pretty okay in it. It's about a 3 out of 6 beers if to be honest with you. So yeah, like to finally like tell you what I thought about this book, Mark. I thought it was pretty mid, but still entertaining. And like I'm down to see just more Valiant books because they don't get enough love and they hardly exist right now. So if once they're there, you gotta get them, even if they're like, yeah. So
Valiant really ebbs and flows, right?
Mhm.
It's like they're super hot and good sometimes, or they get something that's popping. It kind of has been like that even since the beginning. They've never been able to really sustain long-term success. But yeah, really good books from them from time to time.
That Venditti run of Exo Manowar in 2012.
I think that's the best Valiant
It's
book ever.
so good.
Yeah.
I loved it. I probably pestered John all the time when he was working for Rainbow. I was like, get me more of those books. And he was like, order them for me. He's like, you want this book from like 10 years ago? Yes. Yeah.
I got them somewhere, Sam. Shit, you can definitely borrow them if you.
I have the first like 5 volumes of it. So
Okay.
I'm loving it. But yeah, this was okay, but not great.
Oh yeah, man. Well, awesome. My theme for the books that I'm going to talk about today are that they're weirdly shaped. So sometimes those weirdly shaped books that they don't fit in your normal comic book area, they're bigger, and that's what these ones are. Somna, and I'm going to talk about the first 2 issues, and then we're going to get a little spicy. Penthouse Comics.
Okay.
For my second one, that's a little heads up. But this one's also spicy. It's like, damn, dude, this was super, super spicy. It's a story that takes place in witch times, or not, like, I don't know, the 1800s, whenever people, or the 1600s, where people were like, she's a witch, during those times where they were like, looking at anybody who was doing anything different as a witch or whatever. And then like the whole town would, drown them or whatever. It's like, throw the witch in the water. If she floats, she's not a witch. If she drowned, she was a witch. It's like, what? I don't know if that makes sense, guys.
Regardless, she's dying.
Exactly. So yeah. And so with it, though, it's about a woman who's kind of like trapped in her own skin and not feeling as comfortable as she wants to. And her husband is a leader of her community who kills the witches. And it takes a lot out of him because, emotionally that's really tough on him, and he wants to be a good person, but he feels like he's doing his duty for the community because that's what everybody feels like. And he's heartbroken for the people that, are around, for the people that he kills. But in every time she dreams, she starts having this person thing, ethereal being appear that turns her on. And it's forbidden, and she knows she shouldn't, but she wants to go in. And then it starts to, is this person a part of the real world? Is it Satan? Is it part of witchcraft? Is she a witch? And should I be hiding this from my husband because I've locked into some sort of dark power, and he's going to have to, kill me if he finds out. And it's this really give and take trail, but throughout it, you just feel so, I don't know, bad for this vulnerable woman who has no outlets and nowhere to run. And her outlet that she's going to is definitely evil, and she shouldn't go to this thing. But yeah, I don't know. And it's all done with really, really great art. The whole thing is straight vibes all the way through in a very, very specific way of this old romance, lost love, sought after melancholy. And so it's just right up my alley. Somna, by a bedtime story by Becky Cloonan and Tula Lotte. So check it out, though. It's good.
Kind of reminds me, did any of you read the book The Witch of Blackbird Pond? It doesn't delve into the actual demonicness of it, but it has a very similar like plot point to where if like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like they're gonna accuse you of being a witch, and you're gonna die regardless kind of way. And there's like love in it, and it's like I read it in high school. It was good. It was kind of reminded me of that. So if you out there read that book,
check it out, man. Yeah, if you thought the Somna looked good, I mean, check out, what was it called, Sam?
The Witch of Blackbird Pond.
Sounds cool. And also, have you guys been seeing this distillery?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Got some big artists all putting this together. It seems like they're trying to do like a new image thing where they all kind of own it together and they're their own rights, and got a lot of big names. I was asking my comic book sensei John Nordstrom, who is publishing this? Is there a different person printing it? How is it getting distributed? And he said, this is they're publishing it themselves. It is a completely different thing. And then, I don't know if it's in the back of one of these books, but it's not. But I was reading something, I think I follow him on Instagram or something like that, and it has just a bunch of different creators all coming together to have a creator-owned thing, and trying to be on the same level as in quality of paper and paper stock and art stock as like an Image or a Boom or something like that. So yeah, cool. These ones were in odd shape, and if they know anything about comic fans, we fucking hate that because I don't really have a box to put these later. But so good luck with the weird shapes. Maybe switch it up and put them in normal shape so we can put them in the kind of boxes we all own. But I mean, we should probably have a magazine box as well, and that can usually fit into those. So, yeah. Samna. All right, Mark, what do you got?
Oh, cool, man. This also came out today. This was Working Class Wizards. This is issue number 1. And this guy's like in a metal band back in the 70s, and he's recruited by good wizards to fight evil wizards. And then they have to recruit elves to take down the evil wizards, and it's just really cool. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it's perfect. I'd probably give this 4 out of 6, but still really enjoyed it. It's going to be a 3-issue miniseries. And it's by Band of Bards is the comic company.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that one around, too.
Not really
I
familiar.
was going to guess it was that written by Daniel Warren Johnson, because that
no,
sounds
but it does
Daniel
remind
Warren
me of
Johnson book.
Murder Falcon. It's a different style story, but it's not quite as good as that, just to be honest. But I definitely, while reading it, thought of Murder Falcon.
It's just also
not as good as that. I love that, Mark.
Just keeping it real.
That's right.
Before I do my next one, how many rounds are we doing? Because I actually had.
Let's go. What? I mean, I feel we can do 2 or 3.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna bundle these next 2 together. This is part of the Weapons of Vengeance event. This is Wolverine issue 36, and then the infamous Omega issue that Marvel likes to do an Alpha and an Omega extra issue to get more money out of you, in addition to collecting the normal series. Ironically, I was already collecting Wolverine and Ghost Rider, so for me, this is quite convenient. But I gotta say, for 2 fun books that I've been enjoying, this event was a total tanker for
no
me.
way.
It was the dumbest thing I think I've ever read. It was just so dumb. It was poorly written. The art was okay. Sorry, Chad, I see you. I did not like this particular one, only because when it comes to Ghost Rider, my expectations are like 15 out of 10. And so it's very hard for any new Ghost Rider material to get there, only because it comes from such rich roots as a character. Wolverine isn't everything. I've come to expect that. The Midnight Suns video game. Who do we need on our team that's supernatural combatant? Wolverine, of course. Why not? Because people know him and so forth. So it just really fell flat for me. I was curious about it. I didn't have a lot of chat says I failed him.
Yeah, Chad, I love that, dude.
Chad, I'm just coming from a place of, I'm reading a lot of Ghost Rider and this ain't it. So, but it's, everybody likes different things. What I was looking for in the story, it just wasn't there. It felt like it was pandering more so to trying to be fresh with the demonic presence in the MCU, and it just didn't do it. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. There are a lot of things. There was references made to issue 5 of the Ghost Rider run, and I was like, cool, so it's in the same location, and that's all we care about, and there was no other relevance. So I don't know. You know how I like my Marvel callbacks and stuff.
Totally. And so, I feel like for that, John, you'd be like, a new reader maybe wouldn't do that, but how many Ghost Rider issues has our man read in your life? I mean, a lot. So you
who is the Ghost Rider right now? Is it Danny?
Well, this one actually was Danny in this book, but right now I think it is not Danny. Danny's. I think it's actually Johnny in the main series.
Johnny Blaze again.
But then it's Danny had his own limited run for a while. So no, and sorry, this was Johnny in here. So it's so sad though, because between the Danny, it was like a 5-issue miniseries, and Johnny, I wanted to see more like differences in the personalities of the characters, and I am of the opinion that so far with the Johnny run and with Danny, that they pretty much run together for me. They're completely different people, and I understand that, but I really was hoping for more of a difference between them, like a Peter Parker and a Miles Morales kind of difference. Like there's just differences in their mannerisms, how they approach things. But with these two books, the Ghost Rider ongoing and the Ghost Rider Danny Catch 5 limited, it was just so
it happens, but we keep trucking along, right?
Yeah. So it was I don't know. So Ghost Rider for me, the fire is dimming right now. Maybe we can roast a marshmallow in one of those eye sockets. I don't know.
Pretty sure there's going to be a new book coming out called Helverine that is combining those two characters.
Oh, what? No. And that was the other thing. I think it was it this one where Helverine appeared? Yeah.
Okay. He's getting his own miniseries.
So
how many Helverines have we had? That's like the third one.
so Helverine happened, right? And then it just stopped right away too. There was no impact. People were freaking out. This was when I think I was still at Rainbow.
Oh yeah, you were
freaking out about specking the book that they ran out, and like this was like barcode ending in 5-1.
It was like worth like $30.
Trillion covers of it. But honestly, it's not that great. So it looks cool, but I don't know. I'd give this one a strong 1 out of 6. So
well, 1 out of 6. Good luck to the speculators on Helverine.
You know what I've noticed about Ghost Rider? Can I do a little tangent quick?
Uh-oh.
Yes.
I don't understand why they feel the need to keep using Johnny. Because everything that people liked about Ghost Rider was Danny. And then they just put all that on Johnny. And then just said, yeah, that's what we do here. Because all the really cool, like the bike and the chain and all that was all Danny's stuff. And then they were like, oh, hang on, but Johnny Blaze is a cooler name, so we will use him. It's like, and then we'll just put him all the powers that Danny had on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I could be wrong, but that's just kind of how I.
You're 100% right, dude. And what happened is kids that are my age and John's age and Mark's age had Johnny Blaze in the 90s, and so yes, Danny is probably a better character.
Danny was in the 90s. What are you talking about?
Oh, we had Johnny Blaze in the 90s, I felt like.
No, you had Johnny Blaze, who was not the Ghost Rider. He was just a dude.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I got it wrong.
Danny was the Ghost Rider in the 90s.
Yeah, then I got it wrong, definitely, because you would think that then it would, then that's why Johnny Blaze is still around, because he was the original one.
It's the Barry Allen effect where you just have to use him because most people liked Wally.
Yeah, what was the first Flash though with the silver hat? What was his
that?
Name?
Was Jay Garrick.
Yeah, I mean, hey, at least he isn't a Jay Garrett.
Yeah. Hey, I like Jay. Jay's cool for his own reasons. He's not the main Flash though. He'll never be the main Flash.
He's like, yeah, I'm the Flash. I can get there in a couple of minutes.
He's Dad Flash. He's supposed to make you like. He's Dad Flash.
He still takes the car. He like flies in airplanes and stuff. He's like, I can't run that fast or that far.
Whoa.
I'm just sorry to throw him under the bus, guys.
That's kind of true, though. He's the slowest Flash. It's
he
true.
Is. He's the slowest Flash by far, like by a lot. Everybody else is instant.
Same thing with like Hal Jordan. They keep using him. It's like, guys, there's other lanterns. Same thing. I don't know. It's just me with Johnny. I'm like, you should just bring back Danny. He's cooler.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, my next book is Penthouse Comics. I was very intrigued.
Am I going to get skipped?
What's that?
Am I going to get skipped here?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no. What's yours? I forgot that was a tangent, Sam.
Yeah.
I apologize, dude.
So it is February, and that is Black History Month. So I felt the need to go off and read some more read some books about people, African American people and people of color in my stories. So I did that. The first one I did was Hardware, the graphic novel from the Milestone relaunch.
Cool.
This was very fun. I knew literally nothing about Hardware. The only character, like a lot of people, I imagine there's a lot of people who.
Yeah, who's that? Dwayne McDuffie? Who
Dwayne McDuffie and Dennis Cohen created them, I believe.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a great book.
This is written by Brandon Thomas, though.
Sure.
Like this is just it was a cool story. Most people just know Static, but I was like, you know what? I've never read Hardware. Let's read Hardware. We'll see what he's about. And oddly enough, this is another man on the run story. I didn't know why I picked two of those today, but this one is he is the scapegoat for the Big Bang that happened in the Dakotaverse, and everybody's after him, and since he's just smart enough to think that they're going to use the black guy as the scapegoat for this whole thing, that they're like, okay, I'm already out. I'm gonna get my Hardware suit on, and I'm gonna go defend myself and clear my name. And he does that, and it's a really cool story. It's a really good jumping on point for Hardware and Dakota and the Dakotaverse Milestone, by the way. And the art is pretty cool. It's got let me see if I can get to a page here. It's like very action packed. It's like it's kind of like an Iron Man story, but a little bit more gritty, which I really enjoyed. So yeah, Hardware season 1. I really enjoyed this. If I ever get a chance to see if there ever was a season 2, I would definitely read it.
Hell yeah, and way to put throw a Black History Month, man. Love it, Sam.
Absolutely,
really appreciate that, dude. That's so cool. So, hell yeah, and I definitely apologize for interrupting you, dude. I did not mean to do that at all. I totally tried to hijack your time, and that tangent was just so exciting to talk about. So my bad. Well, anyway, Penthouse Comics. Let's get to the porn. If I don't say it so myself. Just kidding. It's not porn, guys. But I was very hesitant to pick it up. It was a light week when I picked it up, and I didn't read it right away. And I was like, this is more like novelty that I would get. And then I got into it, and it's just like heavy metal is what it is. I mean, it's heavy metal minus the sci-fi. I mean, but it is like the same amazing European artists and that are doing really, really, really great detailed work. And the reason I got it right away is because we have right on our cover Gilliam March, who drew this picture, and I recognize it right away. I'm a big Gilliam March fan, and he does amazing. He should be a fine artist. So this is the first page that you get into, and it does this really cool all white, very high art level. And then it goes into extremely detailed, beautiful nightscapes with a very, very specific art style that is just blew me away the entire time. And yes, is it sexy? Yes, it's definitely sexy, but it's sexy in a bunch of ways. It's like got super sexy dudes. It's got sexy girls. It's got, dudes' butts, all sorts of sexy stuff. And it's not trying to be explicit. It's trying to just tell good crime stories, love stories, stories of heartache, stories of partying, young people, and it's an anthology in the same way that those, the Image book is, and in heavy metal is, where we have a whole bunch of, 5 to 7 issue stories that are going to continue throughout as they go on. And I really love it. It's exactly the kind of comics that I love. It sucks that it's going to be called Penthouse Comics, and it's going to have a era of this porn around it because that's what they're known for. But it really is amazing works that if like you could take away the last, there's like some nudity, a little nudity section in the last 3 pages. And when you get to that, you're kind of like, this kind of trashes up this comic a little bit. Like we had such a good, serious comic that, the funny stuff at the end you actually don't really need, but you can skip right over that. And you get a really, really well done comic by super, super talented creators telling stories that you just would never get to see at in any of the big 3. It would definitely be really independent kind of stuff, or stuff you would find out of France or Italy or Spain or something like that, which is always pretty cool too.
In the comments here, Chad's been lighting us up, first of all.
I've been laughing pretty hard at
yeah,
him.
but JJ Comics and Art and Comics is in the building here. So if you guys aren't familiar with John Jesperson, definitely get familiar. He loves representing amazing artists in the industry and does it in a very cool way, putting Sioux Falls on the map in a positive manner. So thank you, John, for all you do. But yeah, he said Tom bought it all for the articles, ... But he actually pointed out they actually did have a successful run decades before with comics.
Exactly. And they touch on that. And I didn't know that until I read the editor does a nice, opens up with a really nice thing that gives us a little context on that. And it really does also talk about what's going on. And like, if let's say you're just opening this up, that is a really nice page. It's very well designed. It's, I would say it's high art or fine art looking. They put on a really good package and presentation. So every single one of those stories, they have their own little opening that gives you, gun crazy, a little sub headline. And then this one is like a really cool picture that I would love for Spork. That's like, oh, whoops, this side that says like video drone and has like, I don't know. It's just like really cool. This one's like really cool sci-fi stuff. It's awesome, man. It's a really cool book.
When did that come out?
3 weeks ago.
Okay, so it's fairly new.
Yeah, it is. Maybe 3 weeks ago, I want to say, Mark. Yeah, but yeah, man, it pushes the boundaries. Obviously, it's still Penthouse, but it just is also just like badass cartooning. So anyway, probably 5 out of 6 beers. Mark, what you got?
Oh man, I gush about this every week, so I just left it for the end. But Duke issue number 3, anything Energon, I'm loving all this. This is no exception. 6 out of 6. Duke has been captured. He wants to convince G.I. Joe that Transformers and Decepticons and all these planes coming to life exist, and everyone thinks he's kind of crazy. So he's gone AWOL, and a huge Cobra villain pops up in this. I won't spoil it. And it's not who's on the cover here either. That's Baroness, but another huge Cobra villain in this issue. Really awesome. I love the depiction of good versus evil in this as well. Like, they very much drive home who's bad. They're very sinister. And then the good very much stand up for what's right. And Duke being a man of integrity, but also sticking to his convictions as well. And I love all this. So good. This is the best thing going in comics right now for me in 2024. I don't think you can beat anything Energon.
That is crazy that it is at that level, and nothing is better than when G.I. Joe is firing on all cylinders. Whoa. It's like some of my favorite comics are G.I. Joe comics because they can be so goddamn good. And I will jump on board. If that's your favorite comic that you're reading right now, Mark, I will go back and I will make sure I'm reading that. That is so dope, dude.
It is tied in with like Transformers, Void Rivals, all that together, but all of them very much worth getting. Daniel Warren Johnson writing Transformers, doing the art for Transformers right now.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I'll go check them out for sure.
Good, man.
Oh man. Well, shout out to Dr. Mindbender. Spoilers. I wanted to save this one for last here too. So sometimes, we get invited to the Hellfire Gala. I'm glad we weren't there this time. The whole event died. All the humans died. Not saying that we're human, but we probably would have died. So with that instead, I got invited to the wedding, but I got my invite late. So I arrived last minute to attend this beautiful affair. So Emma Frost looking just darling in her gown. It's X-Men issue 26. Here's the secret about this book. Am I allowed to spoil it? This is like a couple months old.
You can definitely spoil it. Yeah. None of us are reading it.
I'd like to know what happens.
Yeah, me too. So when you look at this cover, you're curious about like, how did this come about? What does this all look like? What kind of decorations were there and so forth? Spoiler: there's no wedding in this book.
No way. Yes.
It's beautiful. So there's a scene where Emma's wearing a ring that blocks her mutant powers, making her undetectable from these Stark Sentinels that are running around. So it makes her appear human on their scans. She's wearing a ring. She's taking it off, and Tony's like, "Whoa, what are you doing?" And then he's on his knee with the ring, and someone walks in on him, and they're like, "Whoa, are you proposing to your assistant?" Because she has a brunette wig on. That's the wedding. I was so angry, Tom. Because I was ready for this over the top. Wilson Fisk is paying for everything, or Emma Frost can, I guess, or I guess Tony could too. Everyone's rich.
Everyone's rich in that relationship, yeah.
But the 5 sisters aren't even in the book, right? They're not there. All these characters are all over the place. There's a couple of other things. I can't spoil the Hellfire Gala, even though it's
the 5 sisters aren't even in the book as the bridesmaids.
No,
that's so funny.
No.
Wait, so they're not actually married?
Not yet. I haven't read the adjoining cover, the Iron Man thing.
Okay, because I was like, I thought they did get married, but it was like kind of a wedding of happenstance.
Yeah. So I'll see what happens in Iron Man. That's my next one to read. This is literally what I read right before you IM'd me, or IM'd us about doing the show. But yeah, I love the cover. I love the premise. I think the actual coupling is hilarious.
It's quite weird.
But I was very disappointed because I'm like, oh man, we just had the gala, which was like more violence than anything. It wasn't over the top fashion like the first one was. This looked to be a lot of fun in that regard, and we did not get that. So because I got screwed out of champagne with the best of the best, Emma Frost, I am giving you a 0.5 out of 6.
0.5, yes. Emma Frost gets dusted.
She gets that warm sip of beer at the end of the bottle that nobody lets you drink, but you don't really want to.
I love it. All right, Sam, what do you got for us?
Well, I have another one for Black History Month because that's what I've been trying to do.
Yeah, good man.
I'm trying to like. So the next one I have is the other history of the DC universe, the Black Lightning issue that came out. This was a Black Label one that came out like 2 years ago, I think. There was one after this about Katana. I haven't read it yet. I will later.
That cover's sick, dude.
I know, it's really cool.
Oh.
This is written by John Ridley. This was one of the first things he put out for DC when everybody's like, everybody get hype. The screenwriter for 12 Years a Slave is writing DC Comics now. He's going to make a Batman. He's writing books here. You need to get hype. Guess what? I was hype. And so I bought it. And this book is really interesting because the heroing of Black Lightning in this takes a backseat. It's not about him being a superhero. It is about Jefferson Pierce, the man. And it is very interesting because it starts off with him talking about a guy named Bill Toomey. And Bill Toomey is supposedly, I think he's real. I didn't double check it, but he was a gentleman who had gotten this ridiculous score on his Olympic run. And Jefferson Pierce is like, I will beat that. I will beat him. I will see myself beat him. And that's the start. The start of the book is he does do it. He beats this record. He's a gold medalist. He's got the medal draped around his shoulders. He looks out and says, I could have done more. I could have done more and helped more people. And I don't know about you guys, but if I'm standing at the podium with everybody looking at me, I'm looking at this medal that I put years of my life into. I'm not disappointed. Jefferson Pierce is that driven as a character, and the whole story is just about Jefferson Pierce getting powers, but not having just to deal with having them. He's going out in the streets and trying to fight the gangs, trying to get drugs off the street, stuff like that. But when he's not doing that, he's going to problematic areas, like cities and stuff like that, and going to be a mentor and help this area get out of what people would call an inevitably losing situation. And he increases the GPA of the county. He gets teaching awards. He no matter where he goes to Metropolis, he goes to Milwaukee, he goes to Brick City, all these places, and he makes a difference every time. And it's all about how much of this guy's willing to devote to his cause and what he sacrifices into doing that. Like he unwillingly, even though he loves his family, becomes an absentee father because all he's doing is being in the schools teaching kids. And when he's not doing that, he's being Black Lightning. And while he's not doing that, he barely has time to see his daughters and his wife. A really good point in it is how he's about to go off on his wife for leaving him. And then he realizes that he never even realized they were gone for hours before he got the call that she left him. So he just goes, "You're right. I hope to see it. I hope that we can work something out with the kids."
Sad.
And they do. They got a really good relationship between them for being separated. But it's just a really good book that kind of shows you that you can make a difference no matter what. And even though you can start with your morals being one way, time has ways to change you, soften you, or harden you. And it's very well done. Like John really knocked it out of the park with this story. I really enjoyed it. It took me a long time to read because it's a kind of one you have to fully absorb. It's not like something you can just breezily really read. Really enjoyed this. I will wait to read the Katana one because I want to read that for, I believe, there's a month for that as well. I don't remember it, but I'm going to read it then. But the art in it is very cool. It's got that nice gritty vibe to it.
That's badass.
And just it's very good. It's like they talk about like life altering like things that happen in the DC universe as like offhanded remarks, and then go back. All right, let's talk about this. Let's talk about Jefferson Pierce and dealing with this kid in a school. It's a different viewpoint on how to be a hero, and I love that.
Yeah, good man. And Black Lightning's always had or Black Adam, Black Lightning.
No, that's Black Lightning.
Oh, Black Lightning's always had trouble, being a great superhero anyway. So that's something he struggled with. So it's cool, man. That's really awesome to highlight Black History Month. Thank you, Sam, for doing that and making sure that a comic book look, represents everybody. No matter what your skin color is, or any that which what or anything else. We love everybody just as long as you love comics.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, hell, that was a really good show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, sharing what you're listening to what we shared tonight. We appreciate all of you. JJ, of course, big shout out. Thanks for watching, man. Chad, would love to keep those comments rolling, dude. It's so fun to listen to you or read it as it's coming in. It's so good. You got some good singers. So thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be here again next week, or if I'm gone, these guys will probably be there, and we'll keep on rocking and rolling. Mark, you got anything anything to say as your final wrap up here?
Oh man, bagging and boarding is never boring. That's about all I have to say.
Okay, how about John? You got anything else, man? You want to close it down?
Oh man, well, definitely keep an eye on our channel coming up in the next couple of weeks. We do have a very exciting addition to the show, so very, very, very excited. So we definitely want to give full credit to Tom on this one for pulling it off so quick. But it'll be a fun little add-on to our programming.
Heck yeah, man. It's going to be really fun. Thanks for remembering to shout that out, Johnny. Sam, you got anything else you want to wrap up with?
Make sure you drink water.
Stay hydrated. Hydrate up.
That's all I got.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And as Mark says, bagging and boarding is never boring. We'll see you next time. Boom.
Boom. Oh, wait, I'm supposed to hit the thing.
Hit it, John.
I'm hitting
I
it.
don't have the power like you do.
All right, I got you.